Becky, and we're with A Couple of Bees Read.
And we also review wine. So, Becky, what is our wine this week?
Well, it is one we haven't tried yet. Legato. We've had several different wines from them. This one is their Sauvignon Blanc, which I've always said Sauvignon Blanc is probably my least favorite wine, but I keep trying different ones because I said, I know I'm going to find one I like. And just reading the description of this one, it sounded good. So I said, well, we'll see. Of course, it's from Scout and Cellar, and it came in my, Scout Circle. And that's what I like about Scout Circle is I never know what I'm getting, and it's always a mixture. I do like this one.
This one's good.
This is my favorite Sauvignon Blanc I've ever had.
It's a little drier, I think, than most white wines.
Well, when you read the description of it and what it goes with and everything, it says, and I can taste it's citric, the citric, like a lemongrass, a lemon type thing. It's also got, and I know it's dry, but it has a sweet finish to it in a way. Pineapple, and then the lemongrass, but it's also a little spicy. And that's what interested me, is the fact that they said it had a little spiciness, and I can kind of feel that as I drink more of it. And so maybe some jalapeno, some lime.
Jalapeno, really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have either, but when I was reading the description for it, that was one of the things, and I said, well, now that's interesting. That's why I really wanted to try it, because I've never had anything like that. But, I can feel that little bit of spice there as it goes down. So we'll see. And we have our new charcuterie board and everything. So we'll see how this mixes with everything we've got here. Also, it pairs well. Of course, white wine always goes with any kind of seafood. Soft cheeses, which we have cheese here, but great choice for beach retreats.
Yes.
So
my beau said he's making his seafood pasta tonight, so might have to save a glass.
Yes, that would be great with both seafood pasta.
And I say my beau because Beau is one of the main characters in the book you're going to be reviewing today.
They spell it the same way, which
do.
is unusual.
It's the correct way to spell it.
Yes.
I don't know if I ever told you this. When we met. He was working at a store, and it was just very clandestine meeting. Just go in, and I threw my phone number at him, and he starts texting me, and he wasn't wearing his name badge that day, but when he texted me and he said his name was Beau and it was spelled B-E-A-U, I was like, oh, well, I can date this one.
Yeah.
Because he spells Beau the right way.
Right.
Because if he'd spelled it B-O, I wouldn't have dated him, because B-O is body odor.
Exactly. And that's why, and we went through so many names, my husband and I could not agree on what to name him. And Beau was the only name that we could agree to name him and call him. And I said, well, it's not going to be B-O. I said, he's not going through his entire life with that name. So, But I really wanted to name him Beauregard, but Wayne was like, no. I said, but it's so Southern. And
I call him that half the time anyway. So,
well, he gets called Bocephus and Bo Diddley and,
He does like Bocephus because he met Hank Williams. And like Hank Williams gave the stamp of approval to his name.
Yes, great name. So we like that. Well, into our book review, Karen White, we did a segment where we got to meet her. And also I've already reviewed The Shop on Royal Street that I read, and which is a continuation of the Trad Street series. And one thing in her talk with us that day, she was going to set the Trad Street series was actually going to be set in New Orleans, but Katrina had come through, and she said, she had to do some rewrite because of the places and everything, but she said, I just couldn't do that after Katrina. It just didn't, for her, just didn't seem right to be able, to do that. So, and I thought that was, just very kind of her. And but we just loved her. She was so funny and just so beautiful, so cute. And so anyway, we got this book. This is the second one, The House on Prytania, I guess is how we say that. And I loved it. Of course, I've loved all of her books. I have all of them, and I've read them, and they're all just fabulous. But this is kind of a continuation of the first one, because you have the same characters there. And the house on Prytania is where Beau's grandmother lives. Okay, she lives in this house, and this it's in the Garden District area, where all the beautiful homes are and everything. And it is a little haunted.
Of course. Any house in New Orleans is.
It is haunted. And it's not just haunted by the ghosts of the people that live there. One of the things they describe in here is that some entities are so strong that they can travel from house to house, and it's more, they're connected to the people, not just a place. And a lot of, and I had never even thought of that before, because in the past, when I heard ghost stories and things, it was the person was connected to the place, whatever that place was.
Right.
Well, in this instance, it's a little bit more than that. So, but in here, we have Nola. She's still working on her cottage, and the way they think they've gotten rid of the ghost and everything's hunky-dory, and then she's watching a video, because they're doing everything on social media with the house, trying to promote it. It's sort of like an HGTV remodel kind of thing, And so anyway, they're doing all this, and she sees this video, and the other two people there, her best friend Jolene and Jackson, the guy who actually did it, they didn't say anything. And she said, "Can you rewind that?" And she keeps looking, and then when they're not paying attention, she just keeps watching it, and it's like this big black blob shadow is coming out of the closet and everything. And so it's just like she just gets these chills, and it's like, oh, what is this? She could tell that it was sinister, because it was almost like it was trying to reach through the screen for her, kind of thing. That she could just feel it like trying to pull at her, and it really freaked her out a lot. And then she doesn't want to be at the house by herself and all this, but then something happens and really scares the bejeebies out of her. And so you just have to read to find out exactly what it is that happens. So I'm not going to give that little twist away. And as we were talking, I was telling you it was leading up to what I felt like was a big twist in the story. And I thought I had guessed it, and I did, but that was just kind of like the beginning of the twist.
Yeah.
And it was just, there was a lot more going on here. And again, I don't know how to talk about the story without giving it away, and I don't want to ruin the book for anybody, but just know that there's this something between Nola and Beau, but they're not really paying attention to it, because they're trying to avoid it. And so, you've got that tension going on between them two, because Beau has a girlfriend, and Nola's got like other guys in her life. And
Wait, Beau has a girlfriend?
Yeah, not your Beau, this Beau.
I know, but
Yes.
I need to catch up in this series.
Yes, you
I
do. Beau has a girlfriend. Her name is Sam. She's his co-podcaster.
We don't like Sam.
Yeah. Well, Sam is, she's nice and everything. But, I think she's aware that there's some kind of tension between Beau and Nola, and and Nola's like, I really like Sam, we could be friends, but then all this is going on. But anyway, back to the story. She's still working on her cottage, and the entity that shows up at the cottage ends up following them to the house on Prytania. Yes, and there's like this big to-do showdown that comes up, and it just really, some things are revealed about the house, some secrets, and then there's more secrets about the family, and it's just really interesting. And I'm being very vague. And that's not really what you're supposed to do in a book review, but I know that if I get started, I'll tell you all the good parts, and I don't want to ruin that because it is a great book. I have what you call book hangover. It's like I couldn't wait to get to the end to see how it ended, and then when it was over, I was like, oh no, it's over. Now I've got to wait another year to get another book, you know. And then it's like when you're done and you've read this really great book, what are you going to read next, you know? And you're just kind of hanging in limbo here, and it's like, well, I don't know, what am I going to read next, you know? So I mean, the book is that good that you'll have I have 2 carts full of books over here, and I have bookshelves behind me that's full of things I haven't read yet either. So I have plenty to choose from, but it's just trying to decide because I really get into the book, and it just really takes over, you know, and I it's like I get to know the people in the book, and I just love it. So I mean, naturally it's a 5-star read, hands down. You know, really 5-star plus, because she does such an amazing job. So we love Karen White. I just was so excited to meet her, and she lived up to my expectations, you know.
She surpassed mine.
Oh, yeah.
She was so kind. She gave me writing advice.
Yes.
Like, she, and her process is very different than mine from what she described. Like, she's a pantser, which surprised me, because what I've read of her work is very, in my opinion, well crafted. Like, you know, it has the twist and everything, and how you can write and just whoop, there's the twist, and I can't do that. Like, I'm a planner. Well, my first book was not really outlined. I had a couple of ideas. My first book also took a long time to write. My second book was very much outlined, much faster pace.
Right, I couldn't believe how quick you wrote it. So,
well, once I got the outline done, I wrote it, I think, in 2 months.
Or less.
Yeah.
It was good. But if you haven't read Karen White, shame on you.
You should.
You should. You will absolutely love it. You'll love her. And I would suggest, I mean, if you haven't read the Trad Street series, you could pick up the house on Royals, the shop on Royal Street, and you could read that. And I mean, you won't be as familiar with the characters, you know, of course, but you could still pick it up and start there, because you can always go back and read the other. But,
because I did, and I didn't feel like, I didn't feel lost. Because
it's Nola's story, and Nola is named after New Orleans, Louisiana, of course. So, you know, that's it. Anyway, pick it up, read it, read the series. I know Karen would appreciate it, and we would love for you to. And, you know, drop us a message. Tell us what you think about the book. And don't forget to pick up a bottle of Scout and Cellar wine. And
absolutely. Okay. And guys, don't be afraid to talk to us in the comments. Bye.